everything has come circuitous through the Crown up to present day, and how everything is operating, and that we have two different governments. Within the same state, you have two governments, and we're dealing in a monarchy. We don't have a democracy. We really have a monarchy.
When you say two different governments, to what are you referring?
In the state, if you got the de facto is called this state, and everything in the original state is called the state. The and this. And we found that there was so many of it that was in there that the one part, it was in the Halifax Resolves. And I'm going to read you one little part.
Okay.
And it says, the Halifax Resolves came along in April 12th, 1776, and was done by a select committee after the 4th Provisional Congress, this is North Carolina, which pulled them in under the Continental Congress, so on and so forth. We said, how do we go forward into a constitutional law and try to find something that will absolutely prove our thesis and our hypothesis that there might be more than one government? Now, I'm reading right off of what Mr. P said.
Mm-hmm.
So we started reading, and he's talking about me and a fellow called Fraudbuster and another fella that went actually down into the archives and sat there for 3 days pulling all this stuff and getting it.
What archives is this, in North Carolina?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So we started reading, and the first thing we find, by the way, they were everywhere. This is the Constitution of North Carolina, 1776, and he passed it around, and all the people read it. We got to look at this, and here's the hard part, and you're going to have to learn to read this the way I have had to learn to read it. The constitutional form of government agreed to and resolved by the representative of the freemen of the state of North Carolina, and they put small s, small state of North Carolina, elected and chosen for that particular purpose in Congress assembled in Halifax, 18 December 1776, whereas allegiance, protection, and their natural reciprocal, whereas, he's saying whereas, and we want to do this Constitution. So they say for the time being they're going to act, and they're going to put this Constitution together for North Carolina. So we start saying, which North Carolina? How do you read this? Well, Declaration of Rights, that all political power is vested in and derived from the people. Okay. So all quit writing. He's telling all the people are writing down here where we were talking to them. And gather closer. A Declaration of Rights made by the freemen of the state of North Carolina. See that little word right there? The state of North Carolina.
Yep.
Number 2, the people of this state. Wait a minute. What happened to these two? What happened to the freemen of the state of North Carolina? Now they're calling the people of this state, meaning that these guys sat down and put this Constitution together under their private state. And one person said, their private second state? Right. We have a sole and exclusive rights of regulating them internal government and police thereof. That's a private club. And that no man or said men are titled to several alignments, not separate, as they want them confined within their own alignment, and that the legislature, executive, and judicial power of the government ought to be separate and distinct, and so on and so forth. And you go down and you start reading at the bottom of what we were reading at, you pull it together, and it comes in, and it says, so the government of the state and the government created by the Constitution as this state, the and this. Look it up in the dictionary. You'll see how far apart those words are.
The pronouns the and this?
Yes, the and this.
And where would one look for this? In the old Webster 1828?
Well, any dictionary that's a good dictionary. Webster's, I got the 1828. That's where I like to go. And that's the least bastardized dictionary that you'll find.
Well, I'll tell you, that's on 3 sites on the web. That's really neat to have.
Yeah.
But, I mean, can you give us a thumbnail as what the difference is between the and this?
The is a modifier. I wrote about it. I can't remember. But the is a modifier. This is general. Now, I don't know if in Black's Law, if they have the legal definition of the and this, but hold on a second. ST, I'll look it up and see if...
I'm pulling mine out.
Yeah, pull yours out and take a look at it. because there is a difference. An article which particularizes the subject spoken. Grammatical niceties should not be resorted to without necessary, but it would be extending their liability, they broke the word up, to an unwarrantable length to confound the articles a and the. The most unfettered persons understand a is indefinite, but the refers to a certain object.
All right, what I got here, what were you reading that from?
Page 1324, Black's Fifth.
All right, I got the Black 6th edition. Remember that?
No, I don't have the 6th.
Right,
I stopped after the 5th because they got so screwed up and messing up everything that I didn't bother getting it.
Well, it says an article which particularizes the subject spoken of.
Right.
And
it's very particular. That's why term and word. Term is very particular and cannot be deviated from, but a word can be deviated from and added to and used like including.
All right, and I'm going to just hit you with this. It said, when this and that refer to different things before expressed, this refers to the thing last mentioned.
Right.
And that to the thing first mentioned. This is a demonstrative adjective used to point out with particularity a person or thing present in place or in thought. That's pretty confusing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So in the 1976 Constitution in North Carolina is even more evident when you read it. It says, "We the people of the state of North Carolina, grateful to Almighty God, do for the more certain security thereof, for better government of this state, order and establish the Constitution for the general principles of liberty," and so forth, "the relations of this state," not the state, "to the Union government of the United States and to the people of this state. Now it is called this state." And it's all, this is all the way down when you go and read it. Now, what I did was I wrote a letter to the Attorney General of North Carolina on another matter. And I bought this, no, I didn't really bring it up. I let him nail his own hide to the wall.
Okay.
And I still have a copy of that letter. But we were talking, he says, about being a citizen of the state, and my convictions are, really strong and stuff. And it comes on the letterhead, and on the letterhead is all capitalized, the state of North Carolina. In the letter, in talking about natural liberties, he used North Carolina and didn't put state in front of it, and didn't use the word this, where in all the others he did. And I come back and I nailed him that on a letter, and he never responded to that second letter.
All right, so break that down again about the difference between the semantics there.
Oh, this state and the state. Well,
the lack of using any article, though, wasn't an I man in front of North Carolina?
It was what?
Didn't he not use an article at all before North Carolina?
No.
So no. What status does that create then for?
Because you see, there's no boundaries in North Carolina. The only boundary on North Carolina is listed as the Atlantic Ocean. There's no boundaries between Virginia and South Carolina and Tennessee. And if we went and we found, because of this, we went and we dug up in the archives the old original maps, and the old original maps, North Carolina was Tennessee, all the way over to the Mississippi, and South Carolina went all the way over to the Mississippi, and Virginia went all the way over to the Mississippi.
Oof.
Yeah. And we got the archive actual maps, and they reduced them down because they were huge, and they reduced them down for us, and we got them certified.
What?
And then when you look in the North Carolina Constitution, and it is really funny, in a way, that when we approached the lawyers down there in Raleigh, they didn't know what to say. They actually had no idea why it was written that way, and I'm trying to find it right now. The Constitution of North Carolina. It says basically they will be as they were. That's the definition of the boundaries of North Carolina.
And where would mean they go out to the Mississippi?
Yeah.
And what year was that map created? Do you remember offhand?
1700 and something.
So they're holding to this creation of a state and its parameters that was back in the 18th century.
Yeah. They do.